Mr. President, I move that the board approve the February 10th, 2025 agenda.
Second. Motion made and seconded. Ms. Bobby?
Yes.
Motion passes. Next, we'll have report of board members. Ready? We're seeing we have none. We'll move on. Next, we'll have the report of the superintendent.
Good evening, Chairman Birch and Vice Chairman Newton, members of the Raytown Quality School District Board and members of the Raytown Quality School District community. I just want to thank you again for being present and your continued support of Raytown as we navigate through the weather that we continue to face. As you all know, we've made some adjustments to the calendar, and if you did not receive that correspondence, please make sure you have it just to hold because it might change again. And so understand that when we make those decisions, we come together as a collective to see which decision or which option is the least disruptive, because the last thing we want to do is to interfere with plans that you may have, but we also want to make sure that we're not in school all year round. And so we will continue to look at the calendar if those inclement weathers should face us. And we have to revert to an AMI day. Our teachers have worked very hard to make sure that our children have the instruction necessary, and our administrators are doing their absolute best to make sure that the equipment and the materials are provided to our students so that it doesn't turn into a non-instructional day. So let's stay tuned for any information that we may have to deliver you regarding the weather. I want to take a moment just to give a shout out to our leaders, our administrators, and more importantly, our athletes, our cheerleaders, our musicians, our dancers. Saturday, if you were not a part of the festivities, you missed a treat because we had the Battle of the Birds. And so I will tell you that I left Saturday without any fingernails because I bit them all game long. It's very difficult to take sides when you think that all of your children are amazing. So I just wanted to say kudos to all of our students for doing their absolute best, even our spectators. So just thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I also want to give a shout out to our very own Raytown Quality Schools Police Chief, as well as Kansas City Police Department, for coming together and collaborating with us. Last week, we, for safety purposes, we distributed gun safety locks, and we had so many individuals come out to retrieve those items, and it is really about safety first. And so we will continue to distribute those locks so that we are safeguarding our homes, safeguarding our schools, and safeguarding our communities. So I just want to say thank you to Mr. Husted, who is responsible for that as well, as Mr. Tim Davis, who is our security in our security department. At this time, I would move down to item 8.6, our student representative reports, and I see that I have them here. That is a nice Letterman jacket. That's almost better than mine. Let me see. Oh, okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I got in trouble on mine Saturday because some of you saw one side and didn't see the other side. And so there's a cardinal on one sleeve and a blue jay on the other. So I had to do like this.
Good evening, Board of Education. I'm Madison Dansby, and I'm an executive from South High Student Council. First, Saturday was our high school rival game, like Dr. Martin Knox said, and it was a lot of fun and very popular considering that it was on a Saturday. And it was fun to see our community bond, even in the very competitive environment. And our girls basketball won, so we are very proud of them. Today we had our second annual Black History program during advisory for our upperclassmen, and it went extremely well. We had a lot of student engagement. We showcased our Cardinal Chorale, which is our top level choir, and then our jazz band, our student-led jazz band, so like their own like student-led club. It's really cool. And we played a game of student game of Black Jeopardy. And next Monday we're doing the same thing for our underclassmen. And then this week, we're starting ticket sales for our informal 90s courtwarming on the 22nd. This will be South's first courtwarming dance since before COVID. So we're excited to plan and kick off the tradition again in a good way. We're very excited for the assembly that Friday as well, which will include performances from our Cardettes dance team and cheer teams, along with our new assembly game ideas. And that's all from me tonight, and I hope you guys have a good evening.
Mhm.
All right, good evening, Board, Vice President Newton, President Burton, Superintendent Dr. Martin Knox. So to start out, we've had a very busy past month and a half. This year, we hosted our third annual courtwarming on February 1st. We had a great turnout. The dance was sweetheart themed, and we decked the gym out in pink and red, had a free candy table, students as DJs, and lots of other fun activities. The next thing we worked on last week was Counselors Week. We celebrated our amazing counselors' hard work by decorating a new bulletin board outside of their offices, and we made cupcakes for all of our counseling staff. This weekend, the Blue Jays showed their talent at the Deck Those Cards rivalry game. Great job, Blue Jays, for your win and hard work. The week leading up to the game, we decked out our gym commons with blue and white and had cards going up and down all of the walls. And then for the rivalry game assembly, we hosted a funeral service for Carl the Cardinal with a heartwarming eulogy where we laid Carl the Cardinal to rest. We showed a slideshow to pay our respect to our lovely rival Carl, and then we played a bunch of games with students and teachers. It was a great assembly, super fun. Over the past 2 weeks, we've had 2 spirit weeks for teachers and students for our courtroom dance and then also rivalry week. We have our bi-yearly blood drive coming up next Thursday, February 20th during the school day. We are hoping to have a good turnout, and we will be making breakfast sandwiches to deliver to all the students and staff before they donate. We have started a new thing the past couple months that's going really well called Toilet Talks, where we hang up posters in each of our bathroom stalls that tell students about things and activities happening within our school. We've had a lot of great feedback with that, so that's been really nice. And last thing we've done is we've had the Polar Plunge. We had 2 students participate this year in the Polar Plunge, and our school raised $337 for Special Olympics. That is all we have now. See you guys next month.
Good job.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you all. And Chase, when you see the new Cardinal, tell the new Cardinal, I think they looked amazing. That concludes the superintendent's report.
Next, we'll have Ray of Hope.
Good evening, President Burton, Vice President Newton, Board of Education, and Dr. Martin Knox. This evening, we are recognizing Alex Colster as our Ray of Hope. He is the Choir Director and Fine Arts Curriculum Coordinator for the district. And we are recognizing him for his dedication and determination in supporting fine arts across our district. Additionally, his leadership in uplifting and encouraging our fellow staff members. He exemplifies the true spirit of this honor. We have a video with a little bit more about Mr. Colster.
I've been in Raytown 10 years and known Mr. Colster for those 10 years. Across that time, he's been a fierce advocate for the arts programs, not just in choir, but all the fine arts programs across the district, and not just Raytown High School.
You can talk to him about anything, and he finds a way to bring a smile to your face. Honestly, he's the best, he's the sweetest. He provides for his students the best way that he can, and he will give his all for his students. Such a big, kind heart, and just, he is a ray of hope.
No matter what a student is interested in, there's a place for everyone at the high school in activities, athletics, different communities they can be a part of. So every year I make an effort to see if choir can be that community for students.
He was the first person before I went into high school to reach out to me. I was auditioning for our concert choir, and he actually attached me with our theater director here as well, Mrs. Colster. I think setting me up like that into high school, I already had a space where I knew 2 teachers. I knew there were 2 spaces for me. I'm just really grateful for him for that, creating a safe space, ready for new people, ready for people that have been here for a long time.
Mr. Colster does a great job building relationships with students and getting them really excited about choir.
He has solely done like thousands and thousands of dollars of fundraising for all of our Raytown music students to be able to perform on the Kauffman Center stage, which is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for our kids.
Raytown and Raytown South, we're coming together and we're going to perform songs.
And we are going to have one concert with both high schools, all of our bands, our choirs, our orchestras, in a facility that's one of the finest performing arts facilities in the world.
I remember when he made that announcement, we were like we were so excited. I really liked the themes that he decided to choose for that, you know, being united. I think like now more than ever, we need to remember we are one as a community.
I love what I do because I get to come to work every day and work with kids and make music. Taking them through that journey and helping them learn more about their own abilities and also about being a good human and working together as a team.
We're really lucky to have him here at Raytown High School. He's done a great job building up our choir program. Our Camerata does wonderful things. And we're really looking forward to April going down to the Kauffman Center to see all of our students in Raytown perform and show off the wonderful things our students do here in the district.
When we were in college, we always talked about our dream of wanting to work together and be a team who does great musicals and really making our jobs a part of a community. And I think Alex has done a lot to make our dream come true. I'm really excited that he's getting recognition for all of the recognition he gives to other people.
The thing about my students that I would want to tell the world is that they are capable of so much more than people realize, and they are worth the recognition and worth getting the same opportunities as students in neighboring school districts, and they should be celebrated.
She's thinking about this whole time.
Good job.
Rachel's looking up something for me, and I could probably just ask Mr. Colster what's the date. But if you have not had the privilege of seeing our performing groups on stage, I encourage you to do so. It is a work of art, it's a work of excellence, and this is just not coming from somebody who cheers on their children, but this is coming from somebody who's an arts person themselves. And I wouldn't say it just for the sake of saying it. It is absolutely a work of excellence. I find time to go to attend all of the performances, one, to support staff, but also to support children. On April 16th, Mr. Colster, can you do this, please? On
Sure.
April 16th,
April 16th, 6:30 p.m. Tickets are available at kaufmancenter.org.
so if you have never been in the Kauffman Center, I would encourage you to get your tickets. But if you've not seen our children, I want you to go see our children. So thank you again, Mr. Colster, for all you do. And I know it's your night, but I also want to say thank you to Katie for your hard work. And that concludes our Ray of Hope.
Congratulations. Congratulations, Mr. Costa.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. And thank you. Congratulations, right there. Next, we have our public comment period. No one has signed up to make public comment tonight, so we'll move to our next agenda items. All right. Our next agenda item was board committee reports. I don't think we have any tonight. So we'll move to the next item.
Mr. President, I would just mention that Finance Committee agenda and minutes and other information is under the Finance Committee meeting item on ESB, if anybody wants to take a specific look at those items.
All right. Next, we'll have the adoption of the 2025-2026 academic calendar and 2026-2027 tentative calendar. Is there a motion?
Mr. President, I move the Board of Education approve the 2025-2026 academic calendar and the 2026-2027 tentative calendar as presented.
Second. Motion made and seconded. Ms. Bobby?
Yes.
All right. Motion passes. Next, we'll have the adoption of policies. Is there a motion?
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve the policy IC prohibition against illegal discrimination, harassment, and retaliation.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Ms. Bobby?
Yes.
Next, we have motion on policies that are in the first read.
All right, Mr. President.
Go ahead.
Do I make some-
Word sent to first reading, sorry. There's for adoption.
So we do want a motion then.
Yes.
Mr. President. And we will move Board of Education approve board policies BBBB-2 school board ballot issues, BDC closed meetings, records and votes, DFI 2 setting, tuition for district programs, GCBA professional staff compensation, IC2 academic calendar, IGBI homeschooling, IGCD virtual courses, IGCDA full-time MOCAP courses, JEA compulsory and part-time attendance, JED student absences and excuses, and JHDF suicide awareness and prevention.
Second.
Motion made and second. Ms. Bobby?
Yes.
All right, next we have their motion for generative AI partner.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approves the purchase of staff licenses for the rest of this year and the next year from School AI for the price of $12,350.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Berlinda?
Yeah, President Burton, Vice President Newton, Dr. Martin Knox and the board. We'd like to take a couple of minutes and talk about the future of generative artificial intelligence in the Raytown School District, and that being with School AI. And when we look at this first slide I have, kind of get a sense of the impact generative AI will have on the workforce and over the next year and then the years to come. And I draw your attention to, you know, how disruptive this technology already is. It's changing the way a lot of work's done. And what that means is we need to prepare our students for that big change to the workforce. And so just to give you an idea of kind of the things you could do for generative AI, I used ChatGPT and I said, give me what it would look like if generative AI was a bad thing, and it was a good thing. And so obviously these were done by generative AI, and I don't think either of them is really an accurate predictor of the future. Once again, this is completely done by ChatGPT. And this is just this idea of how the people feel about the technology right now. You hear a lot of doom and gloom, but you also hear a lot of wonderful things the tool can do. And we thought it best to really try and level set what we think is important for students to know and what's important in the school district. And so before we go any further, I do want to kind of talk about a couple of terms, and there are a litany of terms that you'll hear about generative artificial intelligence. But for starters, we wanted to kind of talk about the difference between artificial intelligence, which has been around for decades, and that is just a computer thinking like a human. And like I said, that's been around for quite a while. It's generative artificial intelligence that's been so important recently, and that's the ChatGPTs of the world. And that is artificial intelligence that generates content. It will create pictures, it will create text, it will create videos, sounds, it will do all these different things. The other thing you see up there is prompting. That's become a really important life skill, is prompting or learning how to type commands into generative artificial intelligence to get the best result. And so if you remember, like with Google, when you first started doing that, you had to be very careful about how you search. Well, the same thing's true with generative artificial intelligence. When you're prompting these tools, you have to be very careful with the way you type different commands and different things you say to it to get the most accurate result. And then the final thing, and I hope you've heard of this, it's hallucinations. And that's something that's kind of new to it's new with generative artificial intelligence over the past few years. At times, the tool will just get it wrong, okay? And they call that a hallucination. And so obviously when the tools first came out, there were a lot more hallucinations. I think one of the ones that made it early on with ChatGPT is if you asked it how many R's were in strawberries, it would say there were 2 R's in strawberry. And so obviously that was a mistake because, you know, people would say, well, clearly there are 3. But that is an example of there were limitations with the tools, and there still are. But thinking about that, we really do think that this offers a tremendous tool for our staff and our students for the way we do work. And I have 2 words bolded. It's assist and support. These tools, as they stand, cannot do the work of a staff member. They can assist a staff member, but we still need people to do the jobs. And that's what's important to realize. These are tools that will help us do our work. It will not do our work for us. Okay? And when we think about it, some of the things is it can help you write, but it certainly can't write for you. It can help you do some planning. It can help you do brainstorming research, but I can't state this enough. It can help you with it. It still requires people to watch, to be the human in the loop, or review the work, edit the work, making sure it sounds like you, the person. And I can remind you of a story. Principal told me this, and I thought it was really well said. ChatGPT, she knows it helps some of her staff write, but she knows when it's ChatGPT because she heard the word hints in it, and she's never heard that person say hints before. I thought that was really funny, but really kind of something to consider. It can help you write, but it can't do that for you. Okay, and when I think about some of the things specifically for our teachers, there's a lot that we're really excited about. It can help us with our Tier 2 instruction, something very important in our district right now. It can also help by help create activities for students. I talk about a lot of bell ringers, and the tool can help with that. And it will also help us kind of level our text. So taking text that might be for a 5th grader and help us level it appropriately for a 3rd grader, things like that. But I'll say it again, it can help us do it. It can't do it all the way. And when I think about the tool being powerful for our staff, we need to consider our parents and our students. Because one of the, I just mentioned it, it will impact jobs in the future. And it's important that we prepare students for this disruption. Meaning it's going to be ever more important that people, when they go out to the workforce, know how to use the tool appropriately. Okay, and that's just the skill of using the technology. But more importantly, They're gonna have to know how to creatively think content generated by generative artificial intelligence. Meaning, I think we saw a lot over the last half year, a lot of fake videos, fake news, fake things like that. It's important our kids know how to go spot things like that. It's also important that our students know how to detect bias in generative artificial intelligence, because it already exists and it will only get amplified. And we need to make sure our students can detect those things and know how to look at the information that the generative artificial intelligence is providing them. They also need to learn how to adapt to it, because I said there's going to be these major disruptions to jobs, and they will only become more. The truth is, whatever version of artificial intelligence you're using today, it's the worst version you'll ever use. The technology is going to continue to get better, and instead, people are going to have to need to learn how to adapt. And finally, we need to make sure students understand the ethical use of generative artificial intelligence, because at times, students using it would be the same thing as plagiarizing. We need to make sure that our students are clear when it's an appropriate use and when it would be inappropriate. And that's why we need to start working on it now. And so we as a group are recommending that the board partner with School AI to bring the generative artificial intelligence to our staff and to our 9th through 12th grade students. And that's for the coming school year.
Good evening, President Burton, Mr. Newton, members of the board, and Dr. Martin Knox. I'm Amanda Cahill. I'm our district instructional technology coordinator. So looking at how we chose School AI, we used our Vanguard Technology Committee that has pre-K through 12th grade teachers. We have about 30 members on that team that are very highly involved, and we tested 2 platforms, and we ended up reviewing and just checking what our students and our staff liked about each tool. So we have Mr. Lamp with us today, and his class actually got to try out the tool. And the main thing about this tool was that it is a walled off garden. So it is just learning about our district and what we put into it, and no one outside of us will learn any of that information. So we are able to keep everything secure within our walls. We also, the Project Lead the Way class, I'm gonna let him talk about that. But they ended up scoring both of these options between a 1 and a 5. They looked at lesson planning, task automation, and just to see which tool worked better in their position that they were in. And I'm gonna let Mr. Lamp talk about that in just a second, and Danielle can talk about it as well, because she did it as well. But overall, our staff chose School AI as a 4.03 out of 5 compared to a 2.76 for the other platform that we tried. So they are more prepared with School AI than what they were the other platform.
Say good evening all. Like I say, I'm just a civil engineer, so I'll keep it simple. Like I said, the School AI was better for our kids and our teachers. It was more protective. Like the kids made a few mistakes and it notified everybody. By the time I was trying to deal with it, I was getting emails saying, "Hey, what's up?" And it helped the teachers with. It could help us with like rubrics, getting tasks set up. If I wanted to do another little syllabi, I could type in what I wanted and give it a little information. It'd give me like a 6-page document that I'd have to cut down or better. Say one need to come up with a quick worksheet or something like that, it comes up. The best thing was it helped me teach the kids in my class how to work with it ethically. Because like last year I was getting stuff from ChatGPT. My little darlings wouldn't even take out the little parentheses, put your information here. So, you had to love them, but still. Now they're getting a little better at how they do it, but now I was taking it to where I'd have them put their prompts in, write it out, what they wanted, and then I'd have them strike through and give me something with no more than 10% of what ChatGPT or what the School AA gave it, and leave it where all the comments are made. Use the tracking on Microsoft Word so I could see where they left it, and I had them leave everything in there, just do strike through. So trying to teach them how to actually do it and do it ethically. Kind of like they would do it as a college, trying to get them college ready. But like I say, they did great with it. Of course, this is some higher level kids, and we can do it. It also did well on doing some translation into Spanish for some of my kids. And I think that's about it for it.
You wanna?
I just want to say, good evening,
Good evening.
President Burton, Vice President Newton, Board, and Dr. Martin Knox. Oh, sorry, girl. I'm really excited to see how this will be used within our district. I think this will really transform the way teachers are able to use the small amount of time that they are given. And I really look forward to watching our students grow with this and able to have more personalized learning experiences.
And that was a lot of the feedback we got from our teachers, was that it gives us more time to be able to do things that we need to do with our students, to get our tasks done that we need to get done. I know one of you made the comment, he had a student try to give feedback on how they liked it, and they used AI to give the feedback. So that was kind of funny that they did that. So for the rest of the year, our plan is to be able to train our staff just basics on what Gen AI is, how they should be using it. We shouldn't be taking student names or any information and putting it into the system, because we want to keep our students safe. That's our goal. And so that is our goal between March and April, to get staff trained. We're going to start planning parent meetings at our secondary site so that parents can be informed on what Gen AI is. And how students will be using it within our walls. So we are very excited to partner with School AI. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, on the training, how do you select, like, how does it start out? Just certain levels and teachers, how's that planned out?
Go ahead.
I believe our training plan at this point would be to introduce them what is generative artificial intelligence, kind of giving them background, much similar to how Matt started off this presentation. Our next step would then be about prompting, because that is 100% how you are going to get the most out of these tools, is learning how to ask the questions, how to format it, how to get it to think and interact with you in a similar way that you would want your words to come off.
And that more than anything, we want to teach staff how to ethically use it so that we're being safe. Like, that's, I think, one of our main priorities to begin with.
I mean, is it gonna be, the secondary first, or is it gonna be every building, the whole district? I mean, how's?
It's district-wide, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're looking to make this, and that's also not just for teachers, it's administrators, it's secretaries. We really think the tool can be used by just about all of our staff members. And so really over the course of March and April, we're going to really try and push that training out as quickly as possible.
Mr. President.
So, Mr. President, so what's our plan for like engaging and educating our parents about all these new resources, and so how they can kind of reinforce being ethically responsible, and then just like tools for them to support, their students?
Yeah, and so during the month of March or April, we're looking to have parent meetings at the 2 high schools. Those parent meetings will be recorded and available after that. And that's where we're going to probably focus. Most of that meeting is going to be really about student expectation of the use of that.
Mr. President. So we were talking about rolling this out to our 9th through 12th graders this year.
This coming school year.
Okay.
And so how long have you used it?
School AI just this year, ChatGPT and
School
other
AI.
training programs, probably since their inception. ChatGPT, since it came out with 2.0, it's on 4.0 or 4.5 now.
And so is that something that's like being taught to the students to use before, or they were just doing it on their own?
They were just using it on their own. I go to the MOAC Summer Conference down with Desi. Just last summer, that was all the conference was about, was how to use generative AI
And
That's what it's gonna be all this summer too, from what I understand.
we chose Mr. Lamp's class because within his curriculum, he needed to use an AI platform to teach them how to prompt it. And so we felt that was a really good fit for them to use it. Yeah.
Mr. President. So what are we actually buying or paying for? Because you said for staff licenses, and I see there's 1,300. Is that for all staff then? And then our students are free to use? Or
Yeah, so the way it'll work is if the staff will all have a login to it. And then what the staff or teachers can do is create what they call like kind of a space, which is kind of their version of a chat bot. And then the teachers could then share that in Google Classroom specifically with a different class. What that means is they can start it and stop it at an appropriate time. And then the teachers would then track that. So we're really paying for our staff members to have the license to use it.
Can I put in something on that?
Sure.
And on those spaces that it creates, anything that students do in it is saved for the teacher's use. So if they do something and they try to harass another student, it's there for us to show their parent or to show the administrators. And if they make a comment that's unsafe and it flags it, we can bring it to the counselors. But it's just completely compartmentalized there for just the teacher and anybody that's on the safe list, like administrator, or in the case this summer, everybody on the tech committee.
so a high school student that has 7 classes, they'll be working it in 7 different places.
Yeah, just
under
like
each one of those
just like a
teachers?
separate Google Classroom setup,
Potentially, yes.
potentially. And it's just specific to like my engineering course, for example, that space is set up, it's more engineering specific. So it can guide the student towards like a tutor at times if they need it. But they can go off base.
So like in lit classes and critical thinking classes where they're actually writing a lot of papers, I mean, you talk about the ethical stuff, but those are the classes where it's going to come into play. How are we, because I've seen programs where you put it in, 70% likely that a computer wrote this. I mean, what are we using to safeguard against that?
Exploring some tools. The problem is there's no generative AI text detection tool right now. You kind of mentioned it where they're going to say it's like maybe written. We're looking at tools that will at least give teachers evidence of cheating, but we're gonna have to rely on the teacher's ability to know whether a student wrote it or not. And so that's where by having it set up this way and not just empowering students to have a login at any times, we're letting our teachers opt in, let students opt into when using generative AI would be appropriate.
And if we think Dr. Martin Knox is doing it when one of her speeches, how will we know that?
Well, I know, I mean, it's a great question, but I mean, part of it is it's incumbent on us staff to quote, to source, to cite our source if we do use generative AI.
Oh, that's good. That's a good point.
Marissa, how do we know that I'm not using it?
Oh, we know.
You don't use scripts, so.
Oh, there we go. Be too still.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt.
But it would be important for us to cite our.
This Bobby has it.
Yes, ma'am.
How many AIs do you have?
Well, on this, I just myself use ChatGPT and School AI. There are quite a few out there, probably more than I could count, but right now we're looking to put our support behind School AI as a district. That way we know our staff will get good training and good support using it.
Thank you.
Just kind of, this is not a question, but more of a comment, because I know there was mention about critical thinking and writing everything else. I know it's something that people are contending with, just with my own students, and my daughter's in school and college. I have one of my daughters the other day, and the professor was like, okay, go ahead and use the ChatGPT or whatever it is, and just trying to teach them about responsibly citing, trying to get them to do some front loading without that support, and then saying, okay, I'm allowing you to have that resource. So they are still doing some thinking like on the front end, but again, this is something that everyone's contending with. But I like how they're handling it, knowing that people are going to use that, given permission to do that, but also getting the front loading and the thinking without the actual, without that. So they've kind of found a way, like even at the college level.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you see somebody have the word insure, they're using ChatGPT. Insured, I don't know what it is.
Semicolons.
Yes.
Semicolons.
Anyways. Don't do that.
All right.
It's gonna help you.
Let's have a vote. Ms. Bobby,
Yes.
motion passes. All right. Is there a motion?
Mr. President, I move that the board award 2025 computer rotation bid to CDWG and approve the purchase of equipment as presented for a total of $787,000.
Second. No one else did.
Thank you.
Ms. Bobby,
Yes.
motions for a new phone system.
Mr. President, I move that the board award the phone bid to Allegiant and approve the purchase of the Persona phone system for a total of $471,258.92. 92 cents.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Ms. Bobby,
Yes.
motion passes.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve the purchase of robes for Raytown South High School from Cousins Concert Attire for a total cost of $26,150.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Ms. Bobby,
Yes.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve the contract with First Student for 5 school bus drivers at the daily rate of $488.66 per day, totaling $158,814.50 for the remainder of the 24-25 school year.
Second.
motion made and seconded.
Yes, Ms. Bobby.
Is this? It's their buses, right?
Ms. Bobby.
Okay, so it's not just the drivers. Yeah, but the buses and the. Ms. Bobby, I
Yes.
was like, I'll become a bus driver for that.
So what was the answer? I heard your question. Is that,
Is
is it just for the
It's for
drivers
the drivers and their bus,
and the buses?
right? Got it. Mhm.
Good evening. I was not able to hear your question from back there. If I could
488
get you
each.
received.
The question was, we got 5 school bus drivers at a daily rate of $488.68 per day. Is that, that's the cost of the drivers?
That's per driver per day.
Per driver per day,
Yes, and driving our district owned school bus.
driving our district. Also. Eight-hour day?
Yes, sir.
Mr. President, would you repeat the question?
The question was, is it just for the drivers, each $488.60 each per day
Yes.
per driver?
That's $488 per driver for what?
To drive the bus.
Is that the cost that they incur?
That's the cost we're paying first student?
Yes,
I'm sorry.
that would be
I'm
the
answering
cost.
your
That would be the
question.
cost that we're paying first student, which is an outside vendor to come in due to a labor shortage.
Okay.
It goes to the company.
Yes.
Yeah, the drivers don't get that.
I was gonna say, no, come on. We working the wrong job. I need to drive a bus.
You do?
Okay.
I will take your application.
Watch what you say.
You gotta do it for free.
Mm.
All right. We'll do a school board rotation.
Right. Right.
All right. I think. Any more questions?
Noti.
No. All right.
Thank you, Ms. Houston.
Motion passes.
I had to think 3 times in
I didn't get the vote, Mr. President.
Ms. Bobby, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yes. We're laughing at me. Summer school. Motion.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve district summer school for grades pre-K through 12 at the locations listed.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Ms. Bobby?
Yes.
Next, we have the revised 2024-2025 academic calendar.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve the revived 2024-25 academic calendar as presented.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Ms. Bobby?
Yes.
President. Move that the board approve the February 10th, 2025 consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. I'll read the donations for this month. We have a donation of $300 for student lunch debt from William and Mari Monholland to Southwood Elementary School. We have a donation of fruit snacks and chips worth $40 from Apple Market Store number 70 to Northwood School. We have a donation of $500 for student books from Ascension Lutheran Church to North Fleet Elementary School. We have a donation of holiday meals, hats, parent-teacher conference meals, and gift cards totaling $1,200 from Community KC Church to Spring Valley Elementary School. We have a donation of t-shirts, donuts, scooters, and books worth $2,075 from Smile Doctors Orthodontics to Spring Valley Elementary School. We have a donation of winter party supplies, snacks, and winter clothing worth $500 to Northwood School from Rock Island Church. We have a donation of $2,200 and $2,210.53 e-gift card from Office Depot to Southwood Elementary School. We have a donation of winter hats, gloves, crazy socks worth $170 from Ivanhoe United Church of Christ to Robertson Elementary. And we have a donation of dinner for parent-teacher conferences, monthly incentive, hot chocolate bar, and gift cards worth $600 from Community KC Church to Raytown Central Middle School. Once again, we tremendously thank our organizations and businesses that support our schools and our children, our students. We greatly appreciate it, and we know that it will be made good use of, and makes us be able to supply those things where a lot of us will come up short without the help. I appreciate it greatly. Thank you. Ms. Bobby?
Yes.
Mr. President, I move that the board adjourn the regular Board of Education meeting at 7:43 p.m.
Second it.
Motion made and seconded. Meeting's adjourned. Oh, Ms. Bobby.
Ms. Bobby.
Everybody
Yes.
else.
Yes.
I voted for everybody.
There you go. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.